I've been with Northern Engraving just a little less than a year, and I can tell you that once we walk through the slides, you know the reason why I chose Northern Engraving. We have several locations through the operation, just in our local communities here. We have West Salem, we have Sparta where our corporate facility is. We also have Holman, we have a small operation in La Crosse, and we have an operation in Spring Grove, Minnesota. That's just locally. One of the things that I was very impressed with is Northern Engraving has a very long, rich history. Being around well over 108 years, you've had to really done a lot of things right. And you've had a lot of good people in the organization to support that. And I can tell you based on some of the financials, even through some of the tough times Northern has had from the financial years that is experienced by all businesses, Northern Engraving has really persevered. As I said, we've got well over 1,200 people and we're continuing to grow. This particular last year from a sales perspective, we're on a 25% increase year over year. And the next couple of years, we're looking between 20 to 25% increase as well. Up until recently, just 2 years ago, the Gillette family owned Northern Engraving. Started back just as 1908 in La Crosse and purchased by Philo Gillette. And then through 3 generations, really took the organization to where it is just recently in the last 2 years. And then the 3rd generation sold off the business to a global investor. But through the years, this is just, I won't go through the details. I know that we've got a lot of speakers here, but it has very rich history. Recognized with the Army-Navy Award and the flag for efficient wartime production. I'm as an old Army vet myself, I hold that very near and dear. There's also a main factory, general office, research and headquarters, moved from La Crosse, Wisconsin to Sparta, where we currently reside right now. And we'll talk about overall our global square footage just in the local area, but well over 1 million manufacturing square feet. A lot of products, as you can see. One of our biggest nameplates, part of our 3 business units that we make up Northern Engraving, is Harley-Davidson, and Harley-Davidson has been a customer of ours for well over 50 years. As we transition through the time, one of the things is I like to point out right here up in 1987, the display room that actually sits in our corporate facility is actually one of the last stops through my interviewing process, and when I walked through that, I knew that I had to work for the company. If you look at what Northern Engraving actually does, you pass by, walk by, or sit in product that we manufacture every day. 80% of the business is in automotive decorative interior, so we're talking about customers like Chrysler, Ford, General Motors, and Tesla. We do all the interior. Any Ford F-150 that you see on the road today, whether it's a platinum package all the way down to the basic model, we build the interior product for that. And there's a lot of Ford F-150s out on the road today. So as we transition through time, coming up into the 90s, I like to point out one, because I'm a big golfer as well. We actually had a lot of opportunities to branch out our business into other segments. So Callaway, Nike, those types of things that we've actually built nameplates for the inlets for those particular clubs. And then combined our our automotive and nameplate efforts under Northern Engraving in 2001. And more recently, there's been some consolidation through the hard times in 2008, 2009 in particular, where it forced Northern Engraving to reinvent itself. bring it back into a smaller organization, and those are all challenging times. But even in those times, the core team really managed to turn around and hold itself together and persevere. And up until today, where we have provided technical assistance and sales for Northern Engraving for our China facility, which is part of our sister companies. We are part of a much larger organization now, so not only from the aluminum decorative side, we also do a lot of our sister units do the wood interior operations. So anything to do with your Audis, your Jaguars, all those particular products, our sister companies talk about it. So we'll kind of go over our global footprint now as we've been purchased, and we're actually a lot larger than we just were just 2 years ago. So as you can see, when we started off, we had our sister companies over here in the UK with sales, our main operations here in the Wisconsin area. But now we actually open our operations, our manufacturing into the China region as well as our sales region. So that we also see not only in our next 5-year plan for Northern Engraving, we're looking to turn around and more than double the size of our sales and our net profit. Also from a global perspective, we're looking to turn around and grow. Just a little history, Sparta, as most of us pass by each and every day. We actually have 3 of our business units that we support out of there, also with our corporate operations. So we have about approximately 279 corporate support that not only support the existing operation there, but all the other satellite entities, as well as our UK customers and our UK sisters, as well as our Chinese sisters and brothers over there as well. So with Salem, 187,000 square feet, primarily focused on automotive. So all the Ford, the Corvette, we do the interior Corvettes, the Chevy interiors. Those are all done there. So we got aluminum molding, injection molding, and also forming in plastics. And then our Holman, a much smaller operation, however, probably a much more financially stable and ran facility out of all the facilities. The average tenure of an employee in Northern Engraving, which also I was very happy to hear, is over 30 years. And if you've worked in a lot of organizations, that's very unheard of nowadays. Probably about 4 months ago, I brought in each most senior person in each factory. Out of 6 people in the organization, they represented over 270 years of Northern Engraving experience. As a matter of fact, there's a lady that still works for us in Sparta who's been there for 52 years. Spring Grove, which is our Minnesota facility. It's primarily focused on the 2 business units, the appliance and the automotive. That's actually one of our biggest operations for our Chrysler. So we do all the Chrysler Hellcats, the Dodge Chargers. So if you see those, and we know that those are pretty fast vehicles, and they were actually promoted on the Fast and Furious 5, we do the interior for that. And then La Crosse North facility is actually an architectural product that we manufacture, and it's a smaller part of our business, but another opportunity for supporting our growth for our next 5 years for Northern Engraving. So nameplates are labels, badges, emblems, appliques, gauges, dials, overlays, warning labels, and asset tags. So as we walk through the pictures, you'll definitely resonate. Hey, I've seen that, I've touched that. I know that it's in my house, it's in my vehicles. It's things that I see and touch every day. Ironically enough, when we were bringing our first set of people for our open house, maybe the first time in the 10 years, a lot of people said, well, I thought you guys just engraved. Said, yeah, we used to do that a long time ago, but I don't think we do any of that anymore. We do everything else but that. Appliance is badges, overlays, and panels. And then, of course, the automotive is the under hood badges and interior trims. So, some examples, and this really doesn't do the justice of history or products that we do. Just for example, in the Sparta factory, we ship out over 1,500 different types of products every month. Badges, you name it. We also do boat trims for these particular customers and a whole lot more. One that's I'm very partial to is Harley Davidson. We have many, many years of history as far as good supplier plaques. There's a very good relation and long relationship with Harley Davidson. And we support globally. So I think most people who maybe have met Deidre Cruiser, she's our VP of the nameplate business. Harley Davidson, if you walk on a bike, is more than probably 4 or 5 badges that we manufacture on any given bike on Harley Davidson. We also do some cosmetic work for that industry. As well as electronics. The Xbox, I showed my son this, 17 years old. He goes, oh, I know that really well. Probably too well. And then, of course, recreational, our Pings, Matthews Genesis. Gauges and dials. Once again, this is all just within our nameplate business unit, which represents 15% of our overall sales. The appliance business, everybody has seen and touched all these products. We do all the big name players, Alliance Laundry, Electrolux, Whirlpool, Amana. This is an area for our business that we see great growth in the next 5 years. It's only currently represents about 5% of our overall sales, and we definitely think that there's a possibility to more than triple the size of our business and our sales. Appliance badges and the trims. And then, of course, our biggest portion of our business unit, which is our automotive sector. We do all these and a lot more. As I said, Ford F-150 actually represents Ford, 51% of overall Ford's global sales, and we manufacture every one of them, the interior as well. As well as the badges, the Cobra, which is down on the right-hand side. Ford is one of our biggest customers and has been a customer of ours for quite a number of years. We're talking decades. And these are just some examples of our interior after everything's put together. We basically call this the jewelry of the car. People make decisions based upon what they see inside the car. I know for my wife, when she sits down in a car, she makes a decision, she says, I don't like wood, I'm not going to buy this car. It might be the car that she wants, but I'm not going to buy that trim. And then, of course, the sales guy comes in and says, we have this trim, all aluminum, you like it? So, the Dodge Challenger and the Charger, as well as the Hellcat. It's very expensive and a limited edition each year. I believe that Chrysler only manufactures about 50,000 of them a year. And then, of course, GMC and Chevrolet, also a big contributor to our customer base. And then, like I said, Ford Mustang is primarily manufactured in the West Salem facility. That is, from our sales perspective, our biggest sales generating. The most complex operation is our Sparta factory with, our nameplate business.